Hello, my name is Gretchen Tallman, and today we're going to be speaking with Mary Frances Coleman of Thompson Law, Dave Franicke with Platinum First Realty, and Jeff Obrasky with Homeowners Financial. It's just a brief conversation about short sales and why it's important for you to have a team of experts in your corner through this process. And Dave, I'd like to start with you.
Okay, the reason why we've assembled this group is we're finding that the real estate market is in a total state of flux right now, with the ups and the downs, and I guess it's more specifically downs. And as a realtor, what I found is I didn't feel my scope of license could handle short sales as a professional, because I'm not a lender, I'm not an attorney. And I thought the best way to best serve the client, the seller, would be to assemble the team and then go from there. And I don't know which of you guys would like to start first in terms of explaining your positions. No, this is just conversation. So.
Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff Obrasky, and I'm a certified mortgage planner with Homeowners Financial Group in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I've worked with Dave for many, many years, both as a borrower and as a realtor. And I come across quite a number of clients, really on a daily basis, who are in the process of exploring some sort of strategic action on their existing home. And what I think is the most important thing is that while you are still current on your existing home, regardless of what you think your intentions are going forward, it's very important for you to see a lender and see an attorney while you're current, to explore all of your options, both legally with your existing home and exploring the possibilities of what you're going to do for living space, prior to and post the short sale.
Well, and I'm Mary Frances Coleman, and I'm an attorney with Thompson Law. I have been working on short sales and foreclosures and default issues and deficiency issues for solely as my practice for 4 years now. And it's come to the point where we have to work together as a team to best suit the homeowner in the disposition of their current property and the acquisition of another property. So I get involved usually after a client has come to Dave about what should we do with our house, and perhaps after they've already talked to Jeff about we want to acquire another house. And I meet with clients for the important determination of what their liability may be if they sell their home in a short sale, if perhaps it goes to foreclosure or they're already in default and not current on the property that they own now. And we go over everything that could come up as far as that borrower is concerned with the existing loan or loans on the property.
And as a realtor, what I found over the last several years in working in this real estate space is that the sellers really are unfamiliar with what's in their loan docs. They're unfamiliar with what comes through on the deficiency judgments, or the
approval letters.
The approval letters. And as a realtor, I'm not qualified to even get into that space. My function, my goal, my whole business plan is I want to sell your property, get the most money I can in the least amount of time to get it done for you. So that being said, for me to focus on negotiations, as a lot of other realtors do, and they're certainly welcome to do that, I just choose not to go there, I felt it in the best interest of the client to work strictly with the marketing and allow the other areas of this particular business venture,
sure,
and it is a business venture, to let the experts handle that, because with Mary Frances, she understands how to read a note and what's in there. She understands what's on the back end. She understands debt negotiation. That's part of her licensing. I am not qualified, and nor do I want to pretend to be, that I can negotiate your deal the best, nor give you legal experience or legal expertise in what you need and what you require. Jeff, on the other hand, I don't know finances. That's his deal. He does with that. He deals with that every day in credit. Jeff can also work with you in helping do credit repair with you down the road so you can buy a home as we move forward. I don't know if you guys like to add in on that.
Yeah, in terms of the credit ramifications, the two scenarios that I see that are most common and that are most avoidable are those people who really would like to are thinking of doing something strategic. They come to me, but they've already listed their home. They've listed it for a short sale. They're already 30 to 60 days late. And when I sit down with them and I see that maybe the house wasn't in both parties' names, maybe they have very strong incomes, there may have been a much better way for them to do this so they do not have to become a serial renter. And I say serial because a lot of times what they think is going to go away in a certain amount of time may not necessarily go away in the period of time that they think it's going to. But once they go late, and once you have listed your home and it's listed for a short sale, okay, you are not buying another house for anywhere from 2 to 7 years post the actual close of your transaction. Okay.
And is that true with all types of loans? I mean, if you had a significant down payment, could you get a conventional financing loan, even though
2
you had a
years,
short sale?
2 years, 20% down. That's your earliest option. Is going to be, a traditional Fannie Mae, not Freddie Mac.
Right.
Okay, Fannie will allow you with 20% down 2 years after a short sale, or indeed in lieu of foreclosure. Okay, FHA is going to be 3 years on a foreclosure or a short sale. Then conventional, with lower down payments can be as much as 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and that's important to know too, because like you said, if you plan correctly, there's the ability to purchase a new property and to still contain the afforded protections that you have in the existing property. So it is important to know each step of the way before you make a decision as a borrower what you're facing in the future. And there are going to be times where perhaps a short sale is not even in the client's best interest as far as their liability down the road, or perhaps it's not in their best interest to buy a house first. But each client's different, each transaction is different, and each loan is different that's existing. So it's important, I think, and that's why it's great to have the brains to bounce all these things off of, because I don't know what Jeff does. I don't know what Dave does. What I do know is that both of them are important in the overall representation of my client, and I think vice versa as well.
And there's some other points too, and Mary Frances can probably attest to this. If you do a short sale, if you do allow yourself to go through a foreclosure, it can impact your job down the road, because some jobs require certain security clearances. So is this the best way to go for that aspect? Also the deficiency judgments, that the lingering aspects that are out there. We're finding now that, and Mary Frances can attest to this a lot more than I can, that lenders are going back after the seller 3-4 years after the fact, saying, oh, by the way, you owe us this amount of money.
Sure.
And your answer, and we find the seller's answer is, well, my realtor said that, oh, there's no deficiency judgment, there's no, you don't have to look behind. So what I saw is that I didn't feel I was qualified to give those judgments, those
Sure.
renderings, and therefore, when you look at this team, you don't have to look back, you can look forward. It's always easier to look out of the windshield than the rear view mirror. So why not do it properly up front? And then from my perspective too, I've done a lot of work, as I mentioned before, in the short sales. I've also worked a lot with other distressed properties with the REOs. So I've got that perspective of working with homeowners who have gone through all these aspects, and I can relate to where they're coming from.
Sure.
And I don't know if you guys want to add more to that aspect.
Well, I agree. It's important from my perspective. Realtors are very knowledgeable about this whole area of the real estate marketplace today, but there's still things that you could take, and I teach classes, and you've attended my classes. There are still things that are outside the conceptual program, so to speak, of what a realtor knows for what they do in their licensing and what we know. For instance, and not to get too complicated, but there's 2 kinds of foreclosures in Arizona. So sometimes a borrower has a strategic choice to allow the property to go to foreclosure, but there's 2 different kinds of foreclosure in Arizona, and in the judicial foreclosure, they may not be protected under our deficiency statutes, but they would be in a trustee sale. And many times I see a client come to me exactly what Dave said, either after a short sale or a foreclosure, and the first thing out of their mouth is, why is my lender suing me? My realtor told me that I would be protected from this. And it's not that you don't know, it's that you're not a lawyer. You just like I don't know
what I don't know.
Property inspections, yeah. I know about this stuff. So it's working together so we can make sure that the client is well protected, and then that allows them the protection to go forward and seek a new property and a new life.
And I'll tell you, what I see and what I think is really unfortunate is when I see the clients who went through the short sale, or in many cases the foreclosure, and especially, I know this is a little off topic, but it still ties in why you need a team, in the bankruptcy prior to a foreclosure, i.e.
Sure.
someone who files bankruptcy, was never laid on their home, and they were told that the house was covered in the bankruptcy, and that's totally wrong. Okay, it's wrong in terms of they can't report anymore, but what it's not wrong in is that the sale of that home has to occur via some sort of trustee sale for the bank to take ownership, in most cases.
Right, right.
And what I'm finding, and I'm finding it more and more now, and it's foreclosures and short sales and bankruptcies, is people are going to penalty box, they're told for 2 or 3 years, whatever the time frame is, they then come to me, in their mind, they've met the time parameters,
Right.
to get out of the box. I pull their credit, and it's, well, no.
Right.
And it's a shock, and it's really, in many cases, it's unfortunate because there are certain ways that these items may be reported, or the way that the sale ultimately occurred, and the individuals got terrible advice, or most importantly, they probably didn't get any advice
Right.
from a legal representative in
Right.
terms of, or a lender, okay, if I do this, realistically, when am I able to do that?
Right.
And there's nothing worse than we say you need to do the 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They do the 3 years, okay, and find out, well, whoa, you don't realize that your trustee sale or whatever didn't really occur until a year and a half after you left your house,
Right.
and the clock didn't start the 3 years until then,
Right.
and they're flabbergasted.
Right.
Sure.
And that's, that's the saddest thing, is those who really thought they were doing the right thing the right way,
Right.
did not get the right advice. Okay, then all of a sudden, they don't find out for 2, 3, 4 years later
Sure.
that they totally are in a different scenario.
And that's
And that's avoidable.
a good point, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, is the bankruptcy issue, because we do see that quite a bit, and we do bankruptcy here for clients. It's not our first choice, obviously, but there are clients who do need the protections of bankruptcy, and there's different types of bankruptcy. And I think a misnomer to most people is that, well, I'll just declare bankruptcy. You have to qualify for it,
Right.
and there are criteria to declare it. But just what you said, there are times when the loan or the debt is discharged in the bankruptcy, but the property never gets sold or transferred.
Correct.
And that happens more frequently than you would like to imagine, and you're right. The issues for the different statute of limitations and things for loan apps are different from the pursuit of debt, but they all have to be taken together as a whole. And in the short sale too, the date of when the default happened is usually where the statute of limitations starts ticking for a lender to pursue you, not exactly the culmination of the short sale. So you've had clients, I'm sure, that have been late for 15 months. And it finally closes here, but the
Sure.
the beginning of the default is where the statute starts to.
And the interesting thing is that those statutes, there's 2 issues here. There's the legal statutes in terms of where your liability is, and then there's the lender statutes
Mm-hmm.
for what clock we use to when you can actually buy a new home.
Right,
And ours are not when the default occurred,
No.
as you know, ours are when the sale occurs.
correct,
And as you say, some people could be 12, 15, 24 months they've been out of their home.
Mhm.
And they thought that when they left their home in default is when the clock started ticking.
right.
And from a liability perspective, that may be the case,
Mhm.
but not necessarily for a purchaser.
So if I could jump in,
Mhm.
what I see here is having worked in the foreclosure business, in the REO business, I work with a lot of distressed sellers. I knock on their door. And what I'm finding is a lot of these people say, well, we've been negotiating a short sale and nothing happens. So as you listen to what we're saying, is what I'm seeing is you've got to build a foundation. You've got to have a broad base of information to make an intelligent decision. So that being said, that's why we've assembled this team. And so you look at Mary Frances, she can take care of the legal from top to bottom, and you won't be surprised. Jeff will cover you for the future and the past, so look forward. And then moving forward with the short sale itself, with the team, I'll take care of selling your property, get the highest price, the lowest number of days on market, so you can move on with your life in a orderly fashion. That's the goal here, orderly fashion, never having to look back. And with that, we appreciate you spending some time with us, and look forward to talking to you in the future.